Welcome to the channel. Today, let's talk about metastatic, okay? Now, this is not a thorough or exhaustive review on metastatic or what it is. It's just my opinion on what I've experienced so far. So basically, I've known about metastatic for a while, and I've seen lots of videos from other hams and things like that. I don't personally know anybody that actually had one nearby, but I can't remember what in the heck prompted me to go ahead and buy one. But when I noticed that they were under $30 now, I think they were closer to 40 a while ago. I decided to buy one, and then I bought it without really doing any research. I bought the Heltec V3 1.1. They call it V3, but it's 0.1. There's other ones. There's a V2, there's a V3, there's a V3 1, and so they're not all exactly the same. Heltec is probably the cheapest one that you can get one from. They have a couple of other ones that have GPS. There's a bunch of different ones out there. You can build your own. You can use a Pico and build one. But they use the proprietary LoRa transmitting protocol, and I guess that's kind of like the FT8 of like almost like kind of cell phone type signals, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm correct. That's just how I see it. So I got the first one. I bought the second one for about $10 more. It came with a really good sized battery. I printed a bunch of different cases. A bunch of them are really dangerous, and you'd end up probably breaking it. So this is the difference between version 1 and 2, although mine's not really sticking above the display. But what I found after fiddling around with it for a while was I was really amazed at what I could pick up. I wasn't able to quickly or easily figure out how to create a private channel. I was able to send messages to myself back and forth pretty easily, and I thought that I was going out over the rest of the network, but I really wasn't. And so even though I was connecting to all these other nodes, I was only receiving them. They were not receiving me. And so after some investigation and playing around with the thing, it's really kind of a pain if you can pick up all these signals but nobody can hear you. And they're pretty close to me. So I thought, well, that's kind of strange. So I did a little bit of poking around the internet today. So here's the unit that I take with me. It's got the battery in it. And if I had the buttons on there, I could push it without putting something down in there. That particular print didn't really turn out real well, but as far as sizing of things, the buttons don't fit it. It's kind of hard to put it together, and so I haven't felt like opening it up, because most of what you're going to do to it is from the phone. And that brings me to the other part. The phone is constantly disconnecting from this thing, and it's a few feet away from me. If it's inside the house and I'm out in the shop, it cannot connect to it. It's too far. It doesn't have a very good range. Lower than expected for, like, comparing it to something like a Pi 0 2W or a Pi 3 or Pi 4. It's not that good. But the concept and the idea is great. And there are lots of people that are using it. I don't know what they're doing with it. There are certain networks that appear to be unencrypted, unlocked, and I believe those are just ham radio ones. And I don't think they're of any use to everybody else, because I don't think they can be unencrypted and forward an encrypted message. By default, everything is encrypted. There's a default channel that everybody's on, and if you don't have that correct, you won't pick up or hear or send any messages. But the software on the phone, I feel like it leaves a lot to be desired, and what other people are saying is it's very proprietary, and they don't like to share or collaborate with outside people. So, which I think is not a good idea this early in the game, but I believe that this has kind of existed since about 2020, somewhere around there. But there's a new one that's really popular, supposedly in the UK, called Meshcore, and then there's a couple of other ones, and none of them appear to be very popular here. Now, another thing too, when you look up the mesh map, it only shows a couple of things, but when you hook up a radio, you see tons. And I guess that's because the ones on the map are connected to the internet, which defeats the entire purpose of this whole thing. This is supposed to be an off-grid mesh network, but some of them are connected to the internet. And apparently those are the only ones that are showing on the mesh map if you go to a web browser. So there's some confusing stuff there, but it's limited to being just able to send a text message. It's kind of neat because you do get these little messages that pop up, and like, today in history, blah blah blah, you know, like I see ones like that from one of the stations. But the thing is, it's just if you look at my map right here. Now this is my other device, which seems to have better coverage. But you see how, like, it's showing that one supposedly is covered and the other ones are on the outskirts. Well, on my other one, I can't show you because I'm using that device to film with. All that stuff's further away. And it's the same antenna, it's just a different unit. So I've tried all the settings and everything like that, but it just doesn't work well. I know somebody's going to say, well, why don't you just switch them? Well, okay, I probably will, but now with this one here, if it's getting into these other two right there, that should allow us to probably communicate with nobody. Because if you look, everybody else is outside of them. So I don't know. What I think, just to kind of sum this up and keep the video kind of short, is Meshtastic is a great idea, but there's some proprietary stuff going on, and there is some gatekeeping going on, and I think it's going to end up hurting them in the end, and everybody's going to move on to some other version of this thing, like Meshcore or the Node thing. So Meshtastic is craptastic in my opinion. Thanks for watching.